Praise the Lord, praise the Lord. It's such an honor. It's such an honor to be here today and being given the privilege to bring the word of the Lord. And since I was asked to bring the word of the Lord, I waited and I was asking the Lord, what do you want me to say today? You have to give me a word, and it's not actually until the last 3-4 days that He gave me the word. And I can't say enough what this means to me, the women of hope. Amen. Because in it, the Lord has been giving me a lot of liberation. A lot, to the point that I've been shocked, amazed, surprised myself. And today, what the title of this topic is called God's Aspirations for Hope, Hope Center. This is Hope. If you don't know what it means, it is the House of Prayer Evangelistic Center. But so we're using Hope as an acronym. Okay, and I was asking the Lord, what do you want to say to hope? Because this is the initial commencement of the Ladies of Hope. And I want to say, since God was talking to me about aspirations, when I was a young lady, I had great aspirations. And one of my aspirations at that time was to become a ballet dancer. And I used to watch our black and white TVs. Yes. At that time, it is back in the 60s, the 70s, the colored was, TV had not come in yet. And I would just watch as those young people on the stage fly up and down on the earth like angels. And then my dad asked me one time, Elizabeth, what do you want to become when you grow up? And I said, a ballet dancer. And he just looked at me and told me, get a real job. Amen. So that kind of blew my aspiration away of becoming a ballet dancer. Now, many people aspire to do great things so that they can leave a legacy. As great as those legacies are, the question still remains, is that legacy your God-given purpose? Is that legacy your God-given destiny? Many people are a great success according to the world, and some have built actual empires, but according to God, they are utter failures. So what we think about what is important, and everybody's life, everybody wants their life to count for something. And that is something that God has given every person in their heart. We want greatness. We want to do something that will say, yes, I was on the earth, because we know that not all of us will have those 80, 90 years. But for the time that we are here on earth, we want to have our footstep or our foot imprint on the world. We have seen in the Bible many people like Abraham. We're still seeing their footprint on the earth. What about us? What is our aspirations? Now, God, just like us, has aspirations or had aspirations. And I went in and I saw in Exodus 19:6. Exodus 19:6. This was God's aspiration. And I will read it because I have printed it here. And it says, "You will be for me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation." These are the words you are to speak to the Israelites. I will repeat that again. You will be for me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words you are to speak to the Israelites. Now, I asked the Lord, or rather he asked me as I was reviewing this, he said, did that aspiration come true? And I said, no. Why? Because when God was speaking to the Israelites, and during the time of the covenant, they got scared because they heard the voice of God. All of them heard the voice of God. They saw the mountain that was on fire. And they told Moses, please, you go talk to him and you come and tell us what you hear. We will listen, but we are too scared to face that God. And from that time on, that aspiration was not fulfilled anymore. So, but when we look at Isaiah chapter 55, verse 11, it says, my word that goes forth from my mouth, it shall not return to me void, but it shall accomplish what I please, and it shall prosper in the thing for which I sent. What God was trying to tell me, every word that I have ever spoken, every word, every aspiration, everything I have spoken will come to pass one way or the other. And already God had spoken over the Israelites. This will be an holy nation. You are my holy people. You are priests. That is why I have taken you out from the peoples. And this is what I desire for you to be. And now they have become scared. And after being scared, now God has to figure out another way out. Then skip for years, and then actually it's thousands of years. And then we see Jesus. Jesus came on the earth. And when Jesus came on the earth, his first sermon was in Isaiah chapter 61, which was, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me. That was his first sermon to the Israelites. But we are going to focus on what he said on verse 6. Verse 6, he said, and you will be called priests of the Lord. You will be named ministers of our God. You will be called priests of the Lord. You will be named ministers of our God. Did this come to happen? I say yes. How did it come to happen? In 1 Peter 2:5, it says, you also, like living stones, are being built into a spiritual house to be a holy priesthood, offering spiritual sacrifices acceptable to God through Jesus Christ. This is after Jesus had come, died on the cross, rose again. This is the message that we were told. So in other words, everyone who comes to Jesus Christ, everyone who is born again, is part of that priesthood, regardless of whether they are male or female. Remember, at that time in the wilderness, it was only men that were supposed to be priests. But it was not God's intention. His intention was the whole nation, all of you, will become priests and a holy nation to me. In Ephesians chapter 4, 23 to 25, and we'll stick only on 23. And be renewed in the spirit of your mind, and that you may put on the new man, which was created according to God in true righteousness and holiness. What is it saying? God is saying that already you are the new man. You are the new woman. Both Jews, both Gentiles, you are one. There is neither Jew, there is neither Gentile, there is neither female, there is neither male. So you are that priesthood that God desperately wanted.
Hallelujah.
But now we ask, praise the Lord, that now that God has his aspiration, where is the physical manifestation of this on the earth?
Amen.
Where is it? I was asking the Lord, where? And he said, you're looking at it.
Amen.
Hope Center is not just a church. And I was telling the Lord, wow, that's great revival. He said, I'm not talking about revival. This is not a revival church. Hope Center is the one that will be training people in holiness, training people as priests unto the Lord. And the Lord has given the right name to Hope, because Hope says it's House of Prayer Evangelistic Center. House of Prayer Evangelistic Center. What is an evangelist? An evangelist is somebody who tells others about God. An evangelist is someone who prays to God. That is what and who an evangelist is. And God is now saying, I am about to do a new thing on the earth. And you are the first people to actually hear this. I have known about this since 2013. And God has progressively been opening up the details of what he is about to do and where he is about to do it. Let me tell you something. 3 years ago, I did not know about a place called Verge. And I was asking God, okay, we are done with our training, because God is the one who trained us, Jemima and myself. And I was asking him, Lord, where do you want us to go? Where do you want me to go? What am I supposed to do? And he showed me the vision of what he's about to do. And he literally, because I asked him, where is this place? Where is this place? Literally, he put his finger on Merced. I did not know anyone in Merced. Neither did my friend here know anyone in Merced. And even to find this place, we got lost many times coming over. And we found our housing by Craigslist, sight unseen, because God said, go over there. And even in this church, when we came, we didn't know anyone. God said, go over there. And there we met with Pastor and Lady Christine. And when we met, the Lord told me, this one is part of what I am going to do in the world, the new thing that I'm going to do in the world.
Amen.
This pastor, this is just a platform for you to meet. Those were the words. And I told Pastor, and I had not known him, and I told him, Pastor, this is not your place. God has another ministry. Although at that time I did not have the details of the ministry, but I knew he was part of what God had planned to do. Now, Hope Center. Hope Center. I'll tell you something. God does not make any mistakes. God does not make any mistakes. This Merced that you're looking at, that is the end of the world. That is what I used to call it. And people would ask me, why are you in Merced? I said, we are at the end of the world. We are at the end of the world because God said go and we go. We went, we came. But this Merced, God is about to do something absolutely amazing. Supernatural. This Merced, this zip code is going to be the most expensive zip code in the world because of what God is going to do, about to do in this area. And it is just starting to happen because God has started to move people, is starting to move things. And hope itself, Hope Center, it's part of what God has always wanted to do. This is his plan. This is not pastor's inspiration, wanting to break free, wanting to do something on his own. No. And I can tell you this, it is God himself who is telling him it's time to move.
Amen.
How do I know that? There's somebody else that told Pastor, this is not your place. God has somewhere else for you to go. And here I am, I come and I tell him, Pastor, this is not your spot. The Lord has somewhere else for you to go. Did you know that this zip code, 95341, this zip code is the same zip code of Jerusalem? 95341. And look at what God is about to do in this place. You, all of you, women of hope, you are a part of what God is about to do. Every one of you, you have been here, you have been trained. Some of you are still going through training, but you are sitting on something great. It's not just another church. It's not just another revival. No, this is completely different. It is different. It has never happened on the earth, but it will happen because God said, whatever comes out from my mouth, it will happen the way I want it. So what am I saying? During that time in the wilderness, they failed. But now, things have changed. For anything to manifest, it has to manifest first in the spirit realm. Based on what I have read, the scriptures that I have read, already we are in existence. So all that now we are waiting on is for the manifestation of Jesus Christ on the earth. I'm not saying the second return. This is different. And when he steps in, you will see what he will do with Hope Center. And every one of you, at least, you are already in there. What I would like to admonish you is, do the best that you can. Do not take this move lightly. It is not a light thing. Many people, especially my mother, wanted to be here. because she knew about what God was about to do, but the Lord called her. But all of you have a chance. If you've ever wanted to do something great, it is here in Hope Center. I know a lot of us came to Christ after we were adults. So we feel that we have lost a lot of time. Okay? And some of us, yes, we have. But this is where you can play catch up. Come and serve the Lord in hope.
Amen.
Do everything, whatever you know your gifts are. This is the time to gather them because they will be needed. We are looking at millions of people coming through Hope Center. I made a mistake, and I was telling Pastor, this will be a mega church, 8 to 12,000 people. And the Lord corrected me and said, no, this is a training center for global priests, for global holiness.
Amen.
Here, not somewhere else. How awesome is that? How awesome is that? All I can say, do not despise the beginning if it looks small. And that is what Zechariah 4:10 says. Who dares despite the day of small things or small beginnings? Since the 7 eyes of the Lord that rage throughout the earth will rejoice when they see the chosen capstone in the hand of Zerubbabel. I might have murdered his name. But I just want to tell you that secret. We are standing on the verge of the greatest manifestation of Jesus Christ, of God on earth. And we will manifest as priests of our God.
Amen.
And as models of holiness. Praise our God.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.